Welcome to the Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast. Hi, I'm Clara.
Hi, I'm Angie. We're here to share all things email and beyond. We go through the trials and tribulations of running your own business, being your own boss, and sending your own email marketing.
As email marketing experts, we're dedicated to helping small businesses thrive so they can have more freedom in their business.
Ready to get started? Let's dive into the episode. Hello, everyone. We are so excited to get into this episode, Send Email Marketing or Get Left Behind. We've been wanting to record this episode, I think ever since we started talking about the podcast, because we feel like, as business owners ourselves, it can be hard to prioritize email marketing, but so often we see such a big gap in the sales that our clients could be making if they were to prioritize email marketing. So we really want to bring to light all of those wonderful reasons as to why email marketing has such a high ROI and why big corporations focus on email marketing over, I don't know, a lot of their marketing channels, definitely over social media, because of the ROI. What do you think, Clara?
I'm
Should we?
I'm really looking forward to this episode. There's so much we want to share, and yeah, really, it's certainly something that comes up so frequently in terms of, like why is email marketing important? And we're certainly going to dig into that today for sure.
Yeah, but before we get into it, I want to hear what's going on with you, Clara. I'm going on, I guess what you would call a holiday. I would call it a vacation or like a small vacation
Nice.
soon. I'm going to Miami soon, so I'm gonna be taking some time off. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be able to actually take time off from work. I definitely blocked off my schedule, but I already have people trying to get meetings with me. When when I've blocked off my schedule and I'm like, do I want the money or do I want the vacation?
Oh, it's so nice to go to Miami. I've never been before. I've always wanted to go. It's so, yeah, I'd say just take it off, enjoy it. Just, you know, put those boundaries up.
Uh, boundaries are money. But yeah, yeah. So my partner's from Miami. That's why we go to Miami a lot. We have a wedding to go to, so it's going to be a lot of
Nice.
visiting friends and family. Um, I don't know. So it should be really fun. I mean, I'm excited. And we're leaving our kids, which is kind of crazy. I have two kids under 5, so um, it's going to be a little nerve-wracking, but also good for the parents because the parents need some time.
Oh, definitely. You need a
So,
break. You need a break, and it would be so nice. And I'm sure the weather, when do you go? In a couple of weeks?
yeah, in a couple of days, actually.
Couple of days.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I
Oh,
know. I
that
know.
sounds
It's been cold
wonderful.
here, so.
Yeah, I think people are now planning their holidays, aren't they, in terms of like what's next. But yeah, we want to go for like a long weekend somewhere, either Rome or Madrid.
Oh, so
And
jealous.
I've been to both cities, but my
Okay.
partner hasn't. I used
Mm.
to work in Rome, like in a previous corporate job. So I had
You
the
did?
pleasure. Yeah, I used to have to go every 6 weeks to Rome, which was absolute like joy.
How long would you stay?
I'd stay for about a week each time.
Nice.
So, um, yeah, I know Rome really well. So I'll be showing my partner around. We haven't decided between Rome and Madrid. If it's Madrid, I've also been, but only once.
Mm.
But this time of year is a really good time to go. So,
Mm.
and both cities have amazing restaurants and
Mm-hmm.
sights to see, and it's just a really nice way to spend a long weekend. So, yeah, a couple of those in the diary will be so nice. I think around the bank holiday. Yeah, so really looking forward to that. And I think, as business owners, we need these breaks.
Yeah.
We need these breaks, like
Mm.
anyone, right? We work hard. So yeah, looking forward to it.
That's cool. I went to Rome on my honeymoon and
Oh,
I
wonderful.
yeah, I was like, I could live here. I loved walking everywhere. I don't know, it was amazing to
I
me.
found it
So,
I found it hilarious because when I was there on my own with work colleagues, and I'd just see all the Italian couples eating ice cream and being romantic. And I
Yep.
was there for work, but I was
Hmm.
very happy to be there.
Well,
I
now
used
you
to,
can go with your partner and be romantic.
yeah, yeah. No, it's nice. I think it's just such a great city, and yeah, it's nice for us because we only live like what 2.5 hour flight, so it's really easy. So yeah, I'm very, very looking forward to taking a little break. So
Well, I can't wait to hear all about it because you know I'm going to ask you
likewise,
so many questions. Yeah, you going to Miami, a little bit different
so
scene.
jealous. I'm so jealous. Oh, well, let me know how it goes.
Oh, I will. We know that it is going to be, I don't know. It's Miami's a lot of high energy, like people, go out late at night and stay up really late. So, me from the Midwest, it's definitely a change of pace. I'm like, I cannot keep up, you guys.
No,
Um,
I know it's probably like good for a short period and then you come back.
yes. It's like Vegas. Like you go to Vegas
Yeah,
for a couple of days and, kind of
yeah,
that's how I look at it. But all right. Well, let's get into talking about emails and why email marketing could like support more vacations and trips for you and your business, right? I mean,
definitely.
it could give you more freedom, right? With the sales
Absolutely.
that it brings in for you.
Yeah, that's what we want, right? At the end of the day, like we want to make the most of our business, but also have the freedom. A lot of us start our own businesses to have the freedom to do things we enjoy. And you like going on holiday, I like going on holiday. So yeah, how do we make that work as small business owners? Well, this is a great topic for us to discuss today.
Yeah, for sure. The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that email marketing, when you send an email, so one of the core differences between emails and social media, which makes emails so attractive, is because when you send an email, all you have to do is make sure that it lands in the inbox of your provider, which if you are following all of the rules of deliverability, which maybe we should have another episode on that. Basically, if you're not spamming people and you are following the laws, um, you end up in the inbox of your leads or clients, and they see that you sent them a message. They see at the bare minimum, they see your name pop up,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know, which marketing 101, right? Repeat of just, seeing the brand, reminding that the brand is there. Um,
absolutely.
and so it is a direct line of communication to your audience that you don't have to depend on any algorithm. All you have to do is make sure your deliverability is good and your email shows up and whatever message you want to get across to your audience is there for them to open.
Yeah, it's brand building. It's, like we need to show up in the inbox, even if people aren't opening every single email. It's about being front of mind in your clients' minds, and making sure that um, you have that regularity in the inbox, like any marketing channel. But this, yeah, it's important to make sure we are still staying front of mind when it comes to email.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like, billboards. What are the point of billboards? Really, just to
Yeah.
be seen, right?
Hmm.
Um, why do businesses buy multiple advertising like commercial slots, Because they want the people to just keep seeing their name, to just keep seeing the brand. That's just so impactful um for
It's
your marketing in
necessary.
general.
Yeah, it's necessary. It's just so important to be consistently in the minds of your clients, of your customers.
Yeah, and email is like that. It's like a guaranteed consistency. Your client doesn't have to be driving, for you to like if you were to do a billboard or something else, they don't have to be, but everybody opens their emails every day.
Yeah, absolutely. How often do you check your emails? I mean, like we're not talking here once a week, are we? We're talking multiple times a day,
Yes.
multiple times a day.
Yes. So they could be seeing your name literally multiple times a day.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
it's so important to really think about what email can do for your business, and even just getting emails out the door, it's very much worthwhile in terms of, where where your business is going and where you want to take it. Email is such a core pillar of any business, and where we want to share some kind of insights today about why it's important.
Yeah, for sure. Um, I think another topic that I want to discuss, I feel like that's a bad segue. Sorry, Clara.
It's okay.
Another thing that makes emails so special, with that direct connection with your customers is the fact that we can personalize it and we can even send emails to specific groups of people, what you like to call segmentation, which we cannot do in any other any other marketing medium, or at least like I don't know, maybe I'm not aware of. But like with social media, I cannot make a post that's like for my service providers specifically and send that post specifically to my service providers. My
Mm,
whole audience is going to see every message that I send, which can be a lot harder to, niche down and personalize even within like your bigger audience. Whereas with emails, you can absolutely create smaller segments of people and create messages that are just for, those specific groups of people, whether it's people who have bought from you or haven't bought from you, or people who are living in one area of the country as opposed to another area of the country. Say you're doing local events and things like that. I mean, you have the opportunity to really create a unique and personalized experience with your email marketing, which we keep seeing time and time again that people really respond to. They love receiving messages and communication that are specifically catered to them.
absolutely. Personalization is such a fantastic way to drive an increase in engagement of your audience. So, an example of what personalization could look like, let's give you a real practical example here is, let's say you're a service-based provider and you've just run an event. And so you had a, a number of people turn up to your event, whether it's in person or online. You can then take the email addresses from that event and send them a follow-up to say, thank you so much for attending. And even, either some kind of special offer or some kind of connection request. But in effect, you can personalize your message specifically to that audience. Now, if we translate that into social media, that doesn't quite work because you don't have the functionality or the ability to personalize that message just for a select group of people. Social media is currently mass marketing, so everyone will see that message, and it doesn't make sense, right, for everyone to see that message. So one of the great things about email is the ability to personalize, and often we always see much better results when
Mhm.
messages are personalized, right?
Yeah, we see from the data that the engagement is higher. When we personalize, as far as revenue, we get more revenue from it, or we get a higher revenue per recipient.
Mm.
Is a stat that is typically followed for those kinds of emails. Um, and yeah, we just know that it just resonates with people, hearing about offers that really make sense for them, that would
Mm.
be the next step for them personally, because everybody that gets on your list is going to be at a different point in their buyer's journey with you, right? I mean, that's just
Mm.
the reality of it. And so while you may not understand where everyone is, you can get a good idea if you have these segments and groups of people based on, oh, what's in an event? Okay, they're just getting to know me. And their next step would be to do XYZ. So you can lead them down that path. People do also love to be led. They love to be guided. They love a roadmap to whatever it is that they desire. So the more that we can really hone in and on what their next step is for them, it's super helpful for them too. And they definitely respond well to that.
Yeah, and let's just, like make it really clear and let's like just go back to this point around algorithm changes. We've had a few blackouts now on social media. There was one
My
recently.
goodness.
And, if you think about the businesses that invest all their efforts and their time, their money in social media, the smart and savvy businesses out there were sending emails on that day and making money.
Yeah.
So think about your strategy in terms of, how much do you rely on social media? The algorithm is incredibly impactful, and it will affect who sees your content on social media, whereas there is no algorithm within email. So you have a
Right.
lot more autonomy and freedom over how and when you send emails.
Yeah, which is a good segue into the next point here. We were going to talk about ROI, but Clara and I have also had like a lot of discussions about what does ROI actually mean. We hear this stat thrown around all of the time, that you get for every $1 you spend on social media, you get, $32 back. And I think, seeing that and being like, okay, how does that translate into my business? What does it mean for me? Do you have any thoughts around that? Because we do know, from all of the data out there about marketing that email marketing does get the highest return on investment for online businesses, hands down, above any marketing channel and like well above any marketing channel. We're not just talking about like small numbers that like social media is just a little bit behind. No, like email marketing is just far ahead in the ROI that you can see. Do you want to speak a little bit on that, Clara?
Yeah, so if you think about the kind of the term ROI, like return on investment, so this is really more applicable to or more measurable for the larger corporate businesses in the sense that they're spending X amount on a platform and they want to see a return financially on
Mhm.
what they've spent. Now, if we take a solopreneur or, someone running their business with a small team, how can we make ROI more meaningful to you? Well, let's break this down. So if we think about how much time we're spending on creating content for social media,
Yeah.
so if you were to take an average week, how much time does it take you to create the reels, the posts, the stories, all the content for social media? I want you to then work out how many sales you're getting from the time you're spending. So let's say you've spent 20 hours and you can then work out from that week how many sales you're getting from the content you've put out. Now, then I want you to look at creating an email. So an email, if you were to send one email a week, it will not take you 20 hours guaranteed unless we want to hear from you if it's taking you 20 hours.
Yeah.
But let's say it takes you 1 to 2 hours max. Let's say 3 hours, if there's additional content you want to include. From that, then look at how many sales you're making. Now, what we see in, I'd say, the vast majority of cases, in fact, most, if not all cases, is that you're going to make more money from investing 2 to 3 hours a week on an email versus investing 20 hours a week on social media. That's a really good way to work out how much time to spend on each channel. Now, we are not suggesting that you stop social media. It has a role to play in your business, but we're asking you to think about how much time you're putting towards each channel and what the return is on your time. So think about how many sales am I actually making from social media versus sending one email? How much am I making from that one email? I think
Yeah.
that does that's a really good way to, look at this whole idea of ROI, return on investment. So rather than return on investment, think of the investment as your time. How much
Yeah.
money are you making for your your time, your invested time.
Yeah, which is so important as small business owners because time is our greatest asset. And it's one that we also find the hardest to, I guess, manage because there's not a lot of it for us because we're doing so much. So if you needed to make a sale this week, or a couple sales, we're saying you would actually see those sales come if you spent the time on your email, sending emails, then you should be focusing on emails. If, however, you are simply looking to grow your audience and you need more eyes and visibility into your brand and you're looking to just nurture and not make sales, well then yes, please spend time on social media because that's what social media is great for. It's really great for brand building and visibility and getting new eyes. But as far as actually making the conversions and making the sales, that's what your email marketing does. So when you need to make sales, send emails.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I think another thing that we'll touch on in another podcast episode actually is
Mhm.
when you get really into kind of setting up your email in the right way, you can actually start to make money from automated emails. And that's another layer of passive income that
Talk
can
about saving
come.
time.
Yeah, you're making money in your sleep. But really the first step is to be really honest with yourself and look at, how much time are you spending on each marketing channel, such as social media and email, and just work out the return, work out how many sales you're making from each channel. That's certainly a really interesting exercise. When I ask my clients to look at that, it's quite surprising at
Mm,
how little people are making on social media. But we never talk about it.
no,
I don't think it's really it, it's this illusion on social media that everyone's making millions and millions of pounds. There's probably 1% of people making that much on social media, and the
just on
rest,
site.
yeah,
Those people don't just make their money on social media. I do not
no,
believe it. They're heavily using their email marketing channels.
ex exactly. It's a combination. So they're making money on social media and email.
Yeah.
But we want you just to take the exercise on board and think about, what does it look like for you in an honest view of your business? Where where are you putting your time and where are you making sales?
Yeah. And it's not just about the sales this week or the sales next week in the short term. What the most beautiful thing about email marketing is, or one of, in my opinion, is the long-term
Mm,
sales, the long-term growth, the long-term effects that your email marketing channel can have for your business and for your customers. Because, you know, the beauty with email marketing is that it is a direct line of communication first and foremost, but to your return customers, your return buyers who have already gone through all of that nurturing. They have obviously been sold on your product. They like you. It typically costs a lot less, takes a lot less time to get another sale from them. And your return customers, on average, spend way more than a first time customer. So the customer building and the relationship that is available to you through emails once someone buys, even after the sale, is also what creates long-term growth for businesses. Um,
yeah, 100%. It's one of my favorite things about email actually is the building the relationship because people get to know you and they get to know your business. They get to know what's important about your business, why you started. They get to know about your new products or service updates, what's next. But you also get to know your clients, your customers. You really get to build that relationship. And
yeah.
there could be people on your list that are simply there to learn more about you before they're ready to buy.
Mhm.
Um, People might take time to buy from you, or people might buy instantly from you. But the great thing about having them on your email list is that nurturing aspect, which is much harder to do on social media, actually. I mean, like we said, we don't hate social media. We love it for the idea, the support around reaching new people, reaching new markets. But when it comes to really building that relationship, email is a fantastic place to do that. Um, and also you can really build insights about your clients, your customers through understanding what they're clicking on, understanding what they're buying, how they're buying from you. There's so much you can learn through the kind of the longer term relationship that you're building. And yeah, like Andy, like you said, the whole idea of reaching new clients is quite exhausting actually, and takes
Mhm.
time and is expensive. Whereas if you look at the opportunity of repeat business, it's huge when it comes to email. I've had clients come back to me multiple times through my email list. And I've had that for my clients as well, because the beauty is once someone gets to know you, they want to continue working with you, or they'll come back and work with you again, time and time again. So it's so important to build those relationships.
Yeah, and what I love about email is I think a lot of times we feel like we're just sending. I think one of the reasons why, at least what I've talked to other service providers, why social media is so attractive, because they feel like it is more of a two-way conversation because of the likes that they are getting on the content that they are putting out. They are receiving validation.
Yeah.
And with email marketing, you don't always receive validation, especially if you're sending out emails that might not even have like a call to action, which sometimes I do, like just to nurture my list or just to like, not ask them for anything, like I don't always ask my audience for something because I don't know, I don't want to always be asking them for something.
Mm.
And so I feel like that can get pretty exhausting if you're sending messages and you're sending emails and nobody's replying back, nobody's clicking on the stuff. It feels like nobody's paying attention. Nobody likes my content. I feel like that's a story that we can easily tell ourselves from, the low interaction that we get from emails, but that's just the way that kind of emails are. But you can ask for replies. You can send survey emails where you're saying, I want to make sure that I'm sending you the content that you want to receive. Will you fill this out? And what I have found when we do that, we get so much response, so many responses, because people do love to communicate back. It's just with emails, like we don't always say like, we don't always, give reply back or whatever. It's just kind of not always like what we're doing with emails. But when we do send those survey emails and we do ask those questions and we do make it more of a two-way conversation, we get so much, we do get to create that connection with people, and we see that people really do enjoy that, So in some respects, I feel like while it may not seem like this on the surface, email is a very personal connection because of, I don't know, just like the act of sending emails back and forth to people to me is very special. And so I wouldn't
Yeah.
discount that.
Yeah, I feel like it's replaced writing a letter in a digital world
Yeah.
now.
Hmm.
It's actually real time. And I do think you can see, well, you can absolutely see the effect of your email by looking at the metrics such as your click rate. Are people
Right.
clicking through? Are people opening? Are people buying? So there is the, even though, yeah, I totally agree with you about social media, you get that instant validation,
Right.
but with email, you do actually get to see results instantly as well. You get to see if people are engaging with your content, which is great. We want to see that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, and at the end of the day, that nurture, that relationship building is what, really drives sales. People buy from you because they know, like, and trust you, because they have a relationship with you, because they feel like they're in the know of what's going on with your business and the changes that you're making. And the way that we make sure that people are in the know and know what's going on is by sending those emails. So yeah, I think that, if you can do that and you can keep people up to date on what's going on with you just as much as you are in social media, the return that you'll see in doing that in emails, um, I don't know, there's a lot of opportunity there.
Huge amount. I mean, ultimately, we are in the business of um, scaling our business, growing, reaching new people. And through our email list, we're building those relationships to ultimately, eventually want to, convert and return to us time and time again. And, in many cases, email can represent a large proportion, 40, 50% of your business revenue wise. So it's very much a core channel of your business for many successful businesses. And it can be a fantastic salesperson for your business as well.
If someone's listening to this and they're like, email marketing is not bringing in 40%, 30%, not even 20%, 10% of my revenue, why? Where can someone kind of get started to focus on to like take the first step to prioritize their email, in your mind, Clara? Like, what would you
It's,
tell them if they're not seeing that return
I think it's a
with
really good
email
question.
marketing?
Yeah, it's a great question. I would look at your list. How was your list created?
Mhm.
How old is the list? Have you nurtured the list, or have you ghosted them and then a year later you started to email them every week? Um, in terms of who's on the list, are they the right audience for your
Yeah.
services and your products? Are they
Hmm.
interested, or have you changed your proposition since? So there are a number of things that we would look at and ask you in terms of, as a business owner, are these things in place? Do you have an engaged list?
Hmm.
How big is your audience? I mean, if we're talking 10, 20 people, we highly suggest you focus on list building.
Hmm.
Um, Relevancy is the content, you know, is the content and what they signed up for. So we
Yes.
want to be adhering to GDPR and making sure that people are receiving the content they've signed up for. Um, and then I'd be looking at the type of content they're writing about and how often they're trying to sell. We want to make sure we've got a good balance of educational, community, nurturing type content versus sales. If it becomes too salesy, that's really off-putting.
Hmm.
In fact, really, your promotional email should really align with your business and your goals and your mission. It shouldn't feel salesy, and that's a whole other podcast episode.
Right.
But these are the things I think, at very minimum, people should be thinking about.
Yeah. I think, if someone's like, I'm not seeing this return on my emails, um, I like you, I would look at, where are people, like where did they come from?
Hmm.
Um, you know, has it been a long time since you emailed them? And then I think I would probably just tell people like just start sending consistent a weekly email, one email a week, and have it be a relationship building email. Like focus on building back the relationship. Focus on seeing if you can get your email list to engage. Ask them what type of content they want to hear from you. Ask them why they are on the list. Is it? Then you can get a really good view of, is it in line with what you're offering? And then if it's not, send an email that's like, I've changed. I have different offers. I have different services, or I have different products. If you'd like to stay on, please. If not, here's an easy way to unsubscribe. I feel like the more transparent you
Hmm.
can be with your email list, the better. Like
Yeah.
you get such a good response. People really do respect you when you're upfront and honest about what's going on with your business inside your email accounts. At least that's what I'm seeing with my clients.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think a confused mind doesn't buy. So
Yeah.
if you were selling hats previously and now you're selling shoes and you hadn't announced why, people are going to get confused, and they're going to either unsubscribe anyway, or worse, mark you as spam. So be honest and say, I've changed direction, or this is what I'm focusing on now. Would you like
Or
to
I've taken
continue to
some
hear?
time off.
Yeah, be honest. Everyone has a story behind their business. So if that's the case and you've had a bit of time out, come back to your list. Don't feel it's completely all lost because actually you can revive a list. Uh, so yeah, there's a lot of opportunity to bring your list back to life if that's the case. But I feel like
Yeah.
we should do an episode on that
I know,
actually.
right? A whole episode on reviving the list.
Yeah,
Um, Building your engagement, right? Because we, like you said, we know engaged lists buy, you
yeah,
know, those are the
yeah.
most fruitful lists are the ones where you have the highest clicks and the highest opens, then you can guarantee that you'll get most sales from those. So that's why it's so important to focus on building those relationships and nurturing your customers. And it really doesn't take long to get back into the swing of that, It's not like then it's going to be like months and months before you make a sale. No, sometimes it's just starting to email regularly again.
It really is. It don't be afraid of getting back in the saddle and emailing. And even if it's just like, Angie says, just a simple update email,
Yeah.
get people engaging with you again. That's the first step for sure.
And then the last point that I had to make here was just the fact that which you kind of touched on was the fact of that we have ownership and control of our list and our data, more so, than we do of our other marketing channels, which, as you can see, when we have blackouts on social media, I don't know. I think I told you this. I don't know if I've told the listeners here this, but last year, my personal Facebook and Instagram accounts were just taken away from me by Meta. I just like logged in one time and was told that I violated some sort of law of theirs. I don't know. It was my personal account. I'm not really sure. I didn't really look into it much. Um, but yeah, they just like shut down my personal account. And I promise you, I wasn't doing anything crazy on there. Like it's just pictures of my kids and my wedding and, all of these wonderful memories that I do not have access to anymore because
Oh,
Facebook just decided to delete my profile. And as a business owner who I do use Instagram to market my business, it terrifies me to be marketing on Instagram because of that. I'm like, any day I could wake up and they're like, nope, we just want to delete your account for
yeah.
any reason. I don't know. Like, and you hear that happening all of the time. It's
It
terrifying.
it really is. It's rented land. Like it's you don't own the space you occupy on Instagram. And while there's lots of opportunity to reach new audiences and it's fantastic for growing your business, it's rented land. It's not something you own. Whereas with email, you fully own the list. It's completely all within your control, the scheduling, um, how you manage your subscribers. It's it's all within your control. And I think that's really appealing to a lot of business owners, actually, that you have this real ownership of your data, and you choose what to do, how you wish to use that data. And I think it's it is an asset to your business. Like if you were
Mhm.
to, look at all components of your business and where the value is, your email list is an asset. It has value to your business. So it's incredibly empowering, particularly when we have, we're building on shaky land with social media. Who knows when the next blackout will be? I reckon there'll be another one in 2 months' time. Like, who
Oh yeah,
knows? We never
always.
know why, right? We never know why they're happening. So, do you really want to do that with your business? Build it on the unstable land, on rented land? Um, by all means, continue to use social media, but just be aware that, people have lost their accounts and they haven't got them back, like yourself, which is really sad
Yeah.
because what happens to your, all your own photography and the images you have on there? It's it's just, yeah, there's no reason given, there's no apology, it's just
There's
gone.
no customer service.
There's no customer service, there's no one to call. It's
No.
just Meta
Yeah.
deciding.
It's just like this
It's
this like invisible force that just controls everything and you have no idea what they're doing and why.
Yeah, and personally, as a business owner, I find that terrifying too. I feel like, and I've seen it happen so often where people just rely on social media and then it's all taken away, and it's really, um, it can ruin businesses because their entire following, their entire strategy is linked to social media.
Yeah.
So, how can you protect your business from these blackouts? Well, yeah, start to build an email list if you don't already have one. If you have one, start to continue to nurture your list. Um, we just want to make sure one of the key takeouts from this podcast is to really understand the power of owning an email list and actually how much of it is in your control. It's it's really powerful as a business owner.
Yes, it is incredibly powerful, and why we recommend prioritizing it above all your social media channels. I tell my clients, ideally, you would have your email account at least like a strategy, an email strategy for sending consistent campaigns, maybe even, your welcome flow, post-purchase flow, those core flows set up before we're even bringing people onto the list so that we can leverage and maximize the revenue of bringing those people onto the list because your email system is really your sales, your foundation for sales. So get that in place, first and foremost, it's going to generate long-term revenue for you as you are building your list and nurturing your audience, and bringing people into your sphere from social media. So emails really have the power to just, yeah, really increase the sales that you're seeing online. But have it set it up so that it can do that and it can work for you. Um, because it absolutely can.
It really can.
So
100%.
I think that's it. I hope we've made our case to you. If you have any questions, if you're like, but emails feel hard, I get that all the time too, that, you know, emails do seem complicated. The account's a little bit more complicated. It's not so intuitive um, to maybe set up an email or send an email than as easy it is to post on social media. We understand that there are roadblocks that can feel super intimidating. And yet you keep hearing us say, prioritize emails. Emails make more of a return. And so it becomes like, there's so much pressure to do emails, but it still feels so hard to do. What do you say to those people, Clara? Because that's my audience. My audience is like, I know, I get it, but I still don't want to do it. I still have resistance to it.
I would say it's not as hard as you think. And I think there's so many email can, and I won't, it can get highly complex for the bigger businesses, but it's incredibly easy to start. And even if you just start building a list on social media, through social media, and start to get people to sign up through a lead magnet, you're in a really good place because the
Yeah.
more you can have an email list, even if you haven't got a consistent strategy in place, you're already putting foundations in to your business that will help protect you against what we've talked about today, social media blackouts. So if there's one thing that you want to take away from this episode, it's to start building your list if you don't have one. And if you have an email list, start to send emails regularly, start to nurture your audience if you're not doing so already.
And don't put so much pressure on yourself to show up like what you're seeing in your own inbox. Um, what I actually see is when my customers or when my clients kind of lean into their authenticity, they lean more into, what's going on with them and how they can connect better with their subscribers and kind of forget about like what other people are sending in the inbox. um, I feel like that just creates like a more special, stronger connection. So don't be afraid to, be different or to be like, just to put aside that little monkey brain that's telling you you have to be a certain way. You have to send emails. You have to have, you have to say this or that. You don't have to say or do anything. Just say what feels right Just send whatever feels right. And that is what your audience will resonate with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's progress over perfection, right? We want to
Yeah.
encourage you just to get something out there, get some learnings. Don't wait until you have the most perfect email, because it could
Yeah.
take
It's never going to
y-
happen.
yeah, just get it out the door. Send what you want to send. Don't worry about perfection. Just take that first step, because you'll get the learnings, you'll get the momentum building. Before you know it, you're sending regularly, and you're starting to see those relationships build. You're starting to see sales come in.
Right.
We get caught up in perfection. So
Yeah.
progress over perfection.
And
Absolutely.
plus, you'll start to learn. That's how you learn what your audience responds to is by sending things and trying different things and then seeing the stats, you know. Did the click rate go up when I sent this content as opposed to this content? And then let your audience tell you what they like to hear from you. And that will just take all the guessing out of email marketing, which is mwah, chef's kiss, you know. Send what the audience wants us to send.
Definitely.
All right, you guys, thank you so much. Please send us any questions that you have on this topic. We really want to help you kind of get over this hump of feeling like, it's okay to keep putting our emails to the side. We really want to encourage you to prioritize your email marketing because we want your business to make money. And that
We
is
do.
how you are going to create long-term growth and long-term sales with your business is focusing on your email marketing. So thank you so much for joining us today, and we'll see you on the next episode.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. You've just listened to Females Across the Pond and Beyond podcast with your hosts, Clara and Angie. If you like our content, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on the platform of your choice. Is there something you want to hear about for our next episode? Email us at femalesacrossthepond@gmail.com to let us know. Until next time.